I mean, they're almost like priceless things that God, the universe, has given us. So try to work really in depth inside. And if anyone has a question, I'll be happy to try and answer. Does anyone have a question? It's a shame. Questions are good.
I have a question, Stuart.
Okay.
I will try to go for it for a question. When you, in everyday life, when you're confronted with people and it's not always pleasant, but is there a way to keep also the heart open with when you are with people? Like you just stay open for them, or you take them in your heart, or is there anything you can do to get the heart more open
Well, the
during the day?
first thing you can do is listen to them. Don't immediately know what's right or wrong. Listen and learn from them. And in order to do that, your heart has to be open. You know, because otherwise, the things they say to you, the things they do, they're not going to come in. You're not going to really hear what they are saying. And this is a big problem amongst all people. I mean, nobody listens to anybody else. Everybody's right. Everybody knows better. Everybody is always in conflict with other people and their own different ways of living. We have to learn to listen. The second thing is, if you have difficulty being open to people that way and keep, it means you got to come back to your meditation and go deeper inside to build a system inside that not only keeps you open during meditation, but whatever you're doing during the day, you're open to allow people to be around you. You're open to give them room so they can express their life. You're also open to see when people are doing negative things and to be able to say, no, I don't need that in my life. And you can honestly tell them that, but tell them with love. You tell them with not trying to, beat them up or be better than them. But I had to write a letter like that this morning to somebody. And I knew the only way to do this is it has to come out of my heart. And some of the things I put in the letter were very hard truths, but they had to come from my heart. And the person can't have the feeling that I'm trying to be superior to them or better than them. I'm just expressing the things I see and I heard in a way which shouldn't intimidate another human being. It might, but it shouldn't. So I really tried to keep it palatable, without me being superior. I don't want to be the superior to anybody. Every one of you has something to teach me about my life. And that's the way it should be. And it took years to build an inner life that was strong enough to live this way, not to be intimidated by all the crap that goes on in the world. Otherwise, you spend your whole life living in a closet. There's so much garbage that goes on here. So, that to me is the key. And if you can't do things like this, you got to work on yourself. Say, okay, I haven't arrived yet. I'm not a master. My chakra system still needs development. And there's nothing wrong with a situation in which people remind you that you haven't arrived yet. They're doing you a very big favor, so don't be angry at them. You know, they're telling you that you've got to do more work on yourself. And people that are always right in situations, I mean, it just creates war. You know, I mean, to me, the most difficult people to spend any time around are people that are right all the time. I can't do it. It's just impossible. Or I take a deep breath and, all right, Stuart, I mean, you got to respect their rightness and you got to open to them anyway and let them be anyway and don't have to be better than them or know better than them. At the same time, you make decisions about what you want in your life and what really works for you as a human being. And the key is always not being upset, but saying, okay, I got work to do on me. I have to come back to the source of the problem. And it's not out there, it's inside me. And if I do the inner work, you know, it really, it transforms things. It changes me. I grow. I mean, look, you know, every teacher from the history of the beginning of time has talked about this kind of stuff. They do it in different ways, you know, turn the other cheek. You know, like there's this wonderful story about the Buddha where one of his disciples tells him that so-and-so was bit by a snake. And the Buddha response was, what did he do to the snake? You know, and these are incredible lessons to learn, how if we grow inside ourselves, it affects the way we live our life outside, and it affects the way we interact with other human beings. And I think that is really an amazing key to making it through the day without, you know, having a million excuses to blow all your energy because of the stupidity of other people, you know? I mean, there's nothing negative in the world, you know? There's just opportunities to learn and grow. When you start seeing things as positive and negative, then we have trouble. But okay, what can I learn here? How can I grow because of the situation? How can I change? How can I become a better human being because of what's going on in the world? Now, the thing is, it's impossible to really change other people unless they really want to be changed. If they want to be changed, then they will find a way to transform their negativity, their anger, their insecurity into something positive inside themselves. But if they're right and they are so convinced of their rightness, just take a deep breath and say, okay, I love you anyway. I mean, some of us have parents like that. We have children like that, you know, that they know better than everybody. And, you know, you got to take a deep breath and say, okay, I love you anyway. I'm not here to fight with you and convince you how wrong you are. All right, be, you know, live your life. And I'm learning to grow because of the energy that you transmit to me. It's teaching me that I need to go deeper and open my heart. Does anyone else have a question? I hope this is clear, you know, saves a lot of aggravation if you can, you know, people shouldn't send chats in the middle of a class. It's not good. First of all, I don't have my reading glasses. I can't even read them, you know. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart. This is Jessica.
Yes,
In
Jessica.
the, in the midst of confrontation or conflict that does occur when the student meets the teacher or the person meets the snake, how does one maintain their grounding and their
Oh,
peace to
Jessica,
learn?
it's the same answer, you know. Look, I told this story, I'll tell it again, okay? I was with Rudy. There was this wonderful Sufi master, you know, he's a Muslim guy who periodically would come to Rudy's ashram and give a talk. And he would attract a lot of people. He was a very famous person. And he would attract a lot of people that would come. And he became a good friend of Rudy's. And in the back of the room, there were a bunch of guys that were, they were really creating a lot of problems. You know, they were from a Muslim sect that was very kind of angry sect of people. And they were sitting in the back of the meditation room there while this man was talking, creating a lot of problems, tension, noise. And after, it was Paravilayat Khan, after he finished his talk, Rudy, myself, and two other students of his went out in the hallway, and these people were there. And you could feel the tension. You feel like something was going to happen, you know? And I will never forget, one of Rudy's students was doing his double, and Rudy said, Schmuck, just stay grounded inside, stay centered. Don't do your double breathing exercise. The situation doesn't require that. And he said, you'll get killed. You got to be completely aware. You don't know what's going to happen in a minute. Anyway, what I'm saying is we all get into those situations that are not easy. Excuse me. And they always remind us that we need to, again, it's the same answer for Paul. We need to do the inner work that can get us strong enough so that we can deal with those situations without them throwing us off balance. And if you are in a situation like that and you are centered in the chi and the chakra below the navel, you have your balance inside, it means you really have done your inner work. You have built a chakra system that is strong enough to deal with these things. But if they throw you off balance and you find that, it means it's telling you you got more work to do on yourself. And how do you extricate yourself from these things? Just keep your mouth shut and don't fight with people. Because if you don't have your balance, you're not going to win. If you do have your balance, then there's not going to be a fight. You're going to know exactly how to respond to keep the situation and give it equilibrium, So they're just a reminder, you got to do your inner work. You got to get stronger. You got to build a chakra system that enables you. I mean, one of the reasons I stayed in business for 20 years, 30 years, is I was constantly being confronted by situations like that in business. People's greed, people's anger, people's this, and yeah, I had to deal with this all the time. And it always was a reminder, Stuart, you got to grow. You have to grow. You have to get more balanced inside. And the more balanced I became, and the more the chakra below the navel, the third chakra got developed. Please try and sit still. Hello? The less of those kind of situations would happen to me. I was capable of dealing with them without offending anybody and just making them, into something that just came and left and finished. We resolved it, I mean, I had this happen last week. There's a guy who's a very good friend of mine, or was a very good friend of mine, who owes me a lot of money. I gave him this money he needed. He was desperate for money and he was living on the streets almost. And he promised me I would get the money back in 3 months. It's been 6 years now that he hasn't even made an effort to pay me back the money. So he sent me this is really a true story, it happened last week. He sent me he went to Spain on a vacation. And I said, all right, you need a vacation, have fun, enjoy yourself, So he sends me a picture of a house in Spain that probably would cost about $20 million in the market today that he's interested in buying. So I sent him back an email. I said, you know, before you buy that house for 20, could you kindly just repay me the $5,000 you owe me? And he said, then he sent me back a net. Well, I can't, I'm not gonna, you'll get a room in the house. I said, you know, I don't need a room in your, you know, fantasy house. I could certainly use $5,000 that you owe me. Anyway, this went on, you know, and I just got, you know, I mean, I didn't take it seriously, but I just had to tell this guy, it's enough. Take care of your responsibilities. It's enough. It's been 5, 6 years already that you've been promising me this, and you haven't taken care of the responsibility. It didn't cost me 1 extra ounce of energy and security, nothing. It was just, okay, here's, you know, here's what it is. Now, whether or not he'll do it is another question, and I'm not going to get upset about that either. It's not worth me wasting my life for money, you know? And if people, their hearts are open, they have integrity, they take care of these things. You know, they take care of these things. So, you know, I mean, these things happen all the time. I don't care how much you've grown in your life and how evolved. There's always, if you'll pardon my expression, some bullshit that's going to come along that's going to test you as a person. And it's telling you, have you done your inner work? Can you stay quiet? Can you take care of this without blowing your life, throwing all your energy away? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart?
Yes?
So with the understanding that by doing this work, we create our reality, but how much of our life is laid out for us?
I would think all of your life is laid out, including every change that ever takes place in your life. I mean, they have a thing called karma. Karma is the layout of your life, including all the changes that take place. Everything that takes place in your life is your karma. So I think it's all, I don't know, I call it predetermination, call it whatever you want, but it seems like it's all kind of there's like an Akashic record of everybody's life. And we live within that record. We live within that predetermination, including the possibility of change. Because change is the key ingredient that allows life to move on. And also allows you to work out your karma, you know, to build an inner life again that allows you to do one thing, to ultimately become a happy person living in this world. I think it's all like that. But I don't think it denies us anything, because everybody has the possibility of truly changing inside by doing deep inner work. That will, it's part of the plan of your life. I mean, look, if I was today the way I was when I was 25 years old, God bless this world, what I would be doing today. And everything that transpired, I'm talking as the story of Ulysses, you know, that transpired in my life is part of the opening of the karma. The changes was part of the destiny that I have to live in my, including what I want to do now, which is basically starting all over again, living somewhere, you know, and recreating a whole new environment that people can come and study and grow. And, you know, it's all part of the unfolding of consciousness, the unfolding of one's life on the earth. The most difficult thing to live with is stagnation. You know, I always used to say, you know, a river, a brook can flow down a mountain. Anybody can drink from it. As soon as it becomes a lake, it becomes stagnant. You understand? It attracts germs and disease. And everything else. But as long as it's flowing down the mountain, anybody can go drink. It's fresh water. Unless it's polluted by some stupid situation, but if it's part of nature, it's just fresh water that flows. It becomes a lake. You know? Insects and disease, and you can't drink the water. So yes, I think everything is laid out. But if you accept the fact that I don't have to do anything because, oh, it's just predetermined, I'm going to live in the world the way I live today. You understand? I mean, that's laid out also. But at the same time, by really building a strong inner, you can change. You can change your karma. You can change your destiny. You can change who and what you are as a human being. And that's also part of one's destiny, one's life. Does anyone else have a question? I hope this is clear, because this is really very important stuff. Because sometimes we accept stagnant living as the ultimate of what we can do in the world. And if you change inside, the world around you starts changing.
If anybody has nothing to ask, this is a question, Stuart. But yesterday I had a very difficult situation with my son, older son. I was so hurt, and I just didn't say anything. I managed to do the things you are talking about now, but it wasn't easy. And after half an hour, he was calm. And I thank God that I could do that.
Well, Flora, you're learning, and that's what you're here for, It's great. You're learning. I could tell you 50 stories like that have happened to me in my life, where I just kept my mouth shut and resolved a lot of situations that could have been very dangerous. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then God bless you all. Thank you. And in all humility, I must say that I have so much gratitude for these Zoom classes and for being here with all of you and for sharing what I've learned with all of you. And I truly, honestly, the best favor you can do me is have all this help you in your life. Have it really do the things I talk about, because your life is not my life. You have an independent and unique connection with God. And as you build that inner strength, you learn your destiny. You really learn your destiny and what you have to do in this world. So bless you all. Thank you. There'll be a meditation on Thursday. I hope to see everybody there, and have a wonderful evening and afternoon. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.